has Nick Saban lost a step? Because for 4,003 days, Nick Saban was undefeated against his former assistants. Starting in 2010 against Derek Dooley, he ran off 24 straight wins against 9 different coaches. And these are good coaches too. Mark D'Antonio, Jimbo Fisher, Will Muschamp, Kirby Smart, Jeremy Pruitt, Jim McElwain, Billy Napier, Lane Kiffin, and the aforementioned Derek Dooley. Then on October 9th, 2021, Jimbo Fisher changed history forever and handed Nick Saban his first loss to a former assistant. Since then, Nick Saban is sub 500 against his former assistants. Has Nick Saban lost a step? And does this very important narrative about the Week 2 slate inform or drive or influence your pick for Alabama at Texas with the Crimson Tide favored by 20?
Yes, it does, actually. And it basically makes me think that Nick Saban is going to have extra motivation in this game because Nick Saban is also 0-1 in his last games against former Nick Saban assistants in the state of Texas within the last year. So there's like a double trend that he is going to try to reverse. I think just for consistency's sake, if you took Texas under their season win total, it's very hard to think that you don't have Bama covering this number. And hey, I took Texas under their season win total. So I am taking Texas. I'm going to lay the 19.5, which looks like a couple of books now have. I think Texas wins this game by 26. So
you mean Alabama.
Excuse me. I think Alabama wins this game by 26. Apologies. Yes.
Still, can we
Texas by 26 would be pretty serious odds.
Jordan, can you clip Bud saying I think Texas is going to win by 26 and put that out on social immediately?
Do it. Hey, if you post it on social media, let's go.
Yeah, I'm jumping in on that too. It's Alabama is going to get to choose its number, and this Alabama team, I really believe, does have the mindset of. It is the perfect mindset that Nick Saban wants, where he wants to eliminate the opponent's will to compete. And he has sort of injected that fire and that motivation from an all off season. How many times has Nick Saban actually come out and legitimately talks about, I really like this team. I really like the attitude that they brought. Like normally he uses that opportunity to light a fire under his team, and he doesn't even think that they need it. They had 55 points, at like the 7-minute mark of the third quarter?
10-minute mark.
At the 10-minute mark of the third quarter, it was 55-0 against the reigning Mountain West champs. And then they just said, we're good. We just need to sim to end. And I think that we are not going to have that same kind of approach here. Alabama gets to pick its number. Do I think that it is possible that Quinn Ewers is going to hit a couple of explosive plays and maybe even get a couple touchdowns for Texas? Yes. But Alabama is putting 50 on this Texas defense minimum. And there is no way that Quinn Ewers, with Will Anderson and Dallas Turner chasing him down, getting overpowered, the offensive line's not going to be there for him. There's no way that Texas is going to be able to get to 30. Yeah, I'm laying it with the Tide.
So you're also on the over then, right?
In theory, but what if Quinn Ewers doesn't accomplish anything?
That's fair.
Like, what if this thing ends up being like 49-10, right? And then you end up losing by 2.5 points or something like that.
Hit that Latifah, would you?
Whoo!
Yeah, I mean, you guys covered a lot of it. You mentioned Alabama was up 55-0 with 10 minutes left in the third quarter and then took everybody out and just coasted to the rest of the game. They also sent in their backup defensive players for the most part, and they still shut out Utah State for the final 25 minutes of that game. And as for Quinn Ewers, you mentioned, I do think Texas is capable of moving the ball, maybe putting up some points in this game. But the other side is, Quinn Ewers is still a freshman. This will be his second career start. I don't really take anything that happened last week against ULM, which has been one of the worst teams in the country the last few years, too seriously. And I think that Ewers going up against this Alabama defense without a whole lot of experience, I mean, it's not out of line to think he's going to make a mistake or two that probably puts Texas in a bad spot and helps Alabama cover this spread. So, yeah, it would be a very interesting story as far as the narrative in the season is concerned if Texas wins this game or at the very least keeps it close. But I just don't see that happening. And I think Alabama's going to coast an easy win here, probably blow them out, and maybe start kind of resting guys in the fourth quarter again, because that Texas defense, I just haven't seen anything from it. It allowed 31 points per game last year. It didn't stop anything that was capable of moving the ball at all. And Alabama, they can move the ball a little bit. So give me the Tide.
Danny, are you in on this or are you out on this?
It can't be this easy. It can't be this easy. I don't know. I'm worried about the overreactions. The obvious, it's too easy. Like if you like Bama, like I kind of like what Bud was thinking about, taking an alt line and going up higher. Like, hey, if it's going to be a blowout, give me the under.
Okay.
In this game, because when you said 49-10, I'm like, I could see that happening if it is going to be this type of score. I just don't think we're going to get that shootout type of game. I would lean Texas. I just think Texas in the heat, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be real hot.
Get Bijan going. I don't think you try to air it out with Quinn Ewers. Good luck trying to run on that defense. But I think they'll try. I think they'll try to stay committed to it. So if I'm leaning towards Texas to fade the obvious, I think the lower scoring game would be the way to go. So I'm going to go under. What's 65.5? Is that my number?
Yes, that's the best I can find you right now.
Yeah, 65.5. All right. So we got Latifa on the board. Danny's going to take the under. Bud, you've got I wanted to hit that one first. Obviously, massive game, also noon on Saturday. All right, what about anybody got a Pitt, Tennessee play?
I do.
Ooh, let's go.
All right, so I actually have a lot of like little small edges in this game, but the one that stands out to me is actually one that we should probably find. Do we have any dentist drops this year? Like, we have a drill still?
Well, yeah. To review, I had a drill, and it created an uproar from the listeners who said that either from their personal experience, and that wasn't even Danny, who has his own issues with the dentist. Like the listeners couldn't take it, so. Maybe we can come up with something else for the dentist, but the dentist is getting in on this game.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he has
two. Now he was 1-0 last week. It's on me. I was so focused on getting the monitors delivered that I forgot to read off Dennis' pick. He did go 1-0 last week.
Did he take the
no, he had the under.
Okay.
So that cashed pretty easily. All right. So look, Pitt is playing at a slower tempo this year. They still have a really nice defensive line and a good secondary. They saw an air raid style attack last week. Tennessee runs a little bit different thing, that they run the Baylor stuff, but it's air raid based in theory, just a little bit different way that they attack with it. I'm not really sold on Kentucky's defense all that much, and I hate Narduzzi's new approach. But it is possible that Narduzzi's approach keeps this close for a half. So I'm going to attack this by betting Pitt plus 3.5. First half line. All right. To me, I think there's a pretty good chance this game is like tied, Pitt within a field goal, small Pitt lead at the half, and then maybe Tennessee opens it up late. The dentist agrees.
On the first half Pitt play?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it sounds to me like you shared the dentist your thoughts, and then he was
I was like, did you hack me or something?
Like everybody else. Let's get on Bud's picks.
So what was the number you got here?
Plus 3.5 Pitt first half line.
Okay.
I like a lot of your thoughts for what you were saying. That's why I like the under. If you notice the theme developing today, under 67.5, I think is where it is. I mean, Pat Narduzzi has made it very clear what he wants to do. He's going to run the ball. He's going to run it to a fault. They just saw an offense similar to this. They played them last year. They've got film to help them prep. They saw Hendon Hooker before. I think they'll be able to slow them down somewhat, but more importantly, the pace of the game is going to slow it down. So I like the under in this one.
What's my Tennessee first quarter line?
First quarter, let's take a look.
I think they're averaging like 17 points per game in the first quarters this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, are you looking for a Tennessee first quarter team total or Tennessee first quarter line?
First quarter spread.
I've got -1.
Yeah, let's do that. Tennessee first quarter -1. As Tom Fornelli said on the early edge on Wednesday, the guy should be winning Oscars, Golden Globes, whatever for script writing, because that guy comes out and has 15 really, really good plays. And on the other hand, Keaton Slovis early on against West Virginia took him a little while to get settled, took him a while to get loose. especially if Pat Narduzzi is going to be trying to establish the run early. I think that sets up for Tennessee to be able to have a lead at the end of the first quarter. Give me the Vols -1 first quarter.
Actually, I can get you -0.5.
That's-
So how about that?
How
In
about
case somehow it's 7-6, you'll win on that. By the way, Jordan, can you queue up last year when Chip was aghast that I was betting first quarters? It's like we have turned this guy. Look at this dude. First quarter. Love it.
I actually did. I have watched some of that recently. I had to put when I was putting together the new Locks theme. Just because I was looking for some sicko quotes, right? That was where the ULM Kentucky quote came from. The same episode where I was just like, I didn't. You've educated me. I've gone to the dark side on this one for sure. Any other Tennessee Pitt plays? Nope. All right. What about we want to go to Baylor BYU? Keep trying to hit some of these big games.
I got one.
Yeah, let's go.
Over 53.5. Total's too low. Talked about it a little bit yesterday, hinted at it, was looking at it. And I've talked myself into it. I just look at this game. I think this is a good quarterback battle, and I think that this total is somewhat disrespectful to the quarterbacks between Blake Shapen and Jaron Hall. I think both will be able to move the ball against the respective defenses of both of these teams. And while Baylor has had an excellent defense under Dave Aranda, BYU was able to move the ball against it last year. And I know they're going to be missing a couple players on offense. They might even be missing Nakua as well, although I think there's a decent chance he's going to play. But I just think that this is going to be a fun, entertaining game on Saturday night. And I think that it's not going to be like a 41-40 kind of shootout type game, but I definitely think the winner's getting to 30. And I think that it's going to be close. So give me the over.
I want to fight you on this, but I need another point to have to be a play.
What about
I
on the
want to
side?
fight him too.
So y'all,
I'm on the
honestly-
side. I like BYU, and I can get it a field goal still. It's not 3.5. I can get it 3.
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
three sides.
Yeah.
I'll lay the 3. I'll lay the field goal. And I watched because Chip and I were on USF last week, and it was an absolute beatdown. It was 28-0. It was 38-7 at the half. They were in complete control. One of the things that I don't know if we value enough is experience. BYU has the most experienced roster in the country of returning production. They're playing at home. Provo's a nice place to play at home. Get a little altitude. The crowd's going to be ruckus. Jaron Hall, I think, is one of the better kind of quarterbacks flying under the radar. And BYU, they look at themselves as a Power 5 school, and they take pride when they get these opportunities. By the way, future conference foes, these guys will be when they join the Big 12. But I think they've owned the Pac-12. I think this is a game they win outright by more than a field goal, so I'll lay the 3.
Danny, while you and I were both liking the edge there, we did not actually put USF on the Locks pod. You know, it was something that we were interested in. I think a pick we made on CBS Sports HQ because you go and you scan the leaderboard and lock agreements between Danny and Chip currently 1-0.
Well, Chip, you did have USF as a money line sprinkle last week.
Oh yeah.
That was it.
What money line sprinkles when you cash.
And then I was mad I didn't take it. Thank goodness
Yeah.
I didn't.
Well,
When
you're currently kicking our butts in money line sprinkles, so you should take them a little more seriously there, buddy.
No, I'm saying when you've got that Northwestern money to play with, you know,
Yeah.
you can be a little loose. But 1-0 is about to be 2-0 because BYU covers this spread. Whoop, wrong board. And I think that this is a moment where we kind of wake up to BYU and start having those difficult conversations about how we rate, how we analyze and rank this BYU team, because the BYU independent schedule is not quite the Notre Dame independent schedule. There are going to be other games where they kind of are just going to be able to bring a like C+ level of play and still be able to win. And so when they do get those big games, especially ones at home, I think that it's an incredible opportunity for them to show out. That has always sort of been the name of the game with BYU. And I like their balance. I think that even with some personnel concerns that I think are influencing some of this line movement, the Cougars are going to be ready to go. And this is a Baylor team that has been retooling on both sides of the ball. And while Blake Shapen looks really, really good, I think that BYU ends up winning the game. So at a short number like 3, I feel comfortable laying it. So give me the Cougs.